This is a scary film. I was wondering if you ever felt scared when you were doing the acting. If there was any scenes that kind of, I don't know, kind of you felt frightened when you were doing them.
None of the scenes actually, but when I saw it at the screening, I was terrified. Yeah, it was like.
And what was it like being on location? Did you all have a good time? Because there's quite a lot of other children in the class that you're in. So was it good fun?
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, got on with them very well. Made some good friends, and yeah, the locations were really amazing. Such the massive manor houses; they were so beautiful.
And you're working with Dominic and Rebecca in this. What were they like to work with?
Rebecca was really sweet and a really good actress, and Dominic was just hilarious. He did a really good Dizzy Rascal impression, which is very funny.
Miss Cathcart, I'm a history master at a boys' prep school. I was sent to request your help. You are a ghost hunter as well as an author.
You can't hunt what doesn't exist.
We think we have one that does.
This is your first film that you're making, but you've got a background in TV, so you've done a lot of direction already. I was wondering if you can tell us what you found different about the two mediums, if there was any challenges in making a film you don't experience in TV storytelling.
It's interesting. Television suffers slightly, for perfectly understandable reasons, slightly from the remote control syndrome. So there is a sense as you're viewing your edit in a TV film you've made, will people switch off? Are they getting bored? Because the button is right there. You can pull people out much more carefully in cinema because you know they're sitting in the dark and you've got to do something really wrong for them to get up and walk out. And I think with that extended suspense that you can bring to scenes and to the prolonged periods of confusion comes a greater reward when things are explained. So I think that was the key difference. Of course, the budget's slightly bigger, and and the quality of cast you get to work with is. I mean, I've worked with some brilliant casts in television. But the quality of cast you get to work with in movies is first class, and that was exemplified by Rebecca, Dominic and Imelda. They were just breathtaking to work with, and I felt privileged.
And when you're doing these, like in a horror film, you've got sort of sequences which you're building suspense and tension.
Yeah.
Do you know when you're seeing a take, do the hairs go up in the back of your neck? Can you tell just the perfect take?
It's a really good question. Can you tell if the take is right with suspense? I mean, sometimes you can. Sometimes you can tell on set. There is a sense of the camera movement. If it's a technological, if it's something to do with your technique that you're delivering that is adding the suspense, you can tell on set. In terms of frequently the build-up of tension in a sequence depends on the edit. And all you have to do is trust yourself that you're getting the material there with which to tell the story and to build the suspense. So the answer to your question is yes and no. Sometimes you can tell because of the nature of that actual moment of tension or release or fear, and sometimes you have to trust your wits really, and just feel I've got the material. I can cut what we need to build the suspense, and never rely on music. If it's suspenseful without music, it'll be fantastic with music. That's the rule.
We might want ghosts to be true. Doesn't mean they are.
These boys aren't worried about bumps in the night. They are frightened to death.
I know this place, and I don't hold with any ghostly nonsense.
You play Florence in the film, and she seems to me to be quite a progressive, modernist, scientific kind of heroine. Does that let you, as an actor, do you have a bit more faith in the character than maybe if you're playing somebody who's the kind of archetypal horror lead?
Yeah, I suppose it's a stronger dimension than sort of being a kind of the stereotype of a sort of slightly fragile woman who's going to get really scared. It's more interesting as an actor to start from a place of immense strength and then get really scared. So, yeah, I suppose so. I don't know if yeah.
And one of the major settings is the mansion that you're shooting in. Does that kind of lend itself to your performance? Can you work with that? Is that helpful?
Very much so. Very much so. It was. You put people in a large English house that doesn't have very much electricity or lighting, and you're walking down spooky corridors. You're going to get the shivers occasionally. However, there's not a lot that's very scary about using those houses with 50 people wandering around with sandwiches and a boom and kind of it's like film sets aren't very scary generally. They go out of their way to protect you. So it's not like...
Just the living you want to watch out for, not the dead.
Lock the house.
You've been frightened your whole life. You shut your eyes
You're all doing this!
and hope that the terror will go away. But it doesn't go away.
Hello?
Flora!